Okay, getting ready here. Technical things. Okay, here we are live. And I'm trying to do this on two platforms at the same time with no in studio help. So here we go. Anyways, welcome to our South Africa edition of Land and Cultural Clearing. I've got a friend who's hopefully going to be joining us. It depends a little bit on electricity, power cuts, and stuff in South Africa. So she's over there, and we are doing this. So this started with Scotland, and it just started to grow and do various countries. We don't have a fixed schedule, and if you would like to have your country or your area, your section of where you live cleared, then feel free to email us or send me a message on Instagram. So, anyways, so this started with Scotland, and just from working on some people that I know there, and it was coming up in their sessions in clearing them that the land was just filled with basically dead people oozing out of the ground because nothing has really been done to clear it at the deep level that it needs to be cleared at this time. So I know a lot of people, depending on countries and situations, areas of the world, people have been doing clearings. But right now we are being called to clear at a much deeper level, more intense level than what has been needed before. And so this is how it started. And today we're going to do South Africa. I'm kind of having to double check to see if my friend Natasha will be able to join us on what's either WhatsApp or maybe on Instagram Live. So hopefully she'll be able to make it. So anyways, so we're going to get started. And the first thing that I want to do is just have everybody kind of settled in. So this is whether you are attending this live or watching this afterwards, your spirit is already here because your person might be watching, you yourself might be watching at a later time, but the spirit does not function on time space dimension. So it's if your intention to show up now, then you will be showing up. So just kind of get settled in where you are, your physical surroundings, and in your physical body. So just notice your physical surroundings and feel yourself sitting in or standing, whatever you're doing, lying down even, in your physical surroundings, and just allow yourself to get really present with yourself, with how you're sitting, your physical body, with your breath, and just allow yourself to settle in a little bit. And I am seeing in the space, there are people that are coming, spirits that are coming in, and it's starting to stand in a circle. So there's a sense of a mastermind that is starting to be created right now. So I'm going to just let that happen for a little bit. I'll just sit there and just allow you to come into yourself. Take this moment to just come into yourself even more strongly for this session. I think it will be really powerful. It was just as I was tuning in before and preparing the space, there was a lot of energy coming up already, and actually a vortex of energy starting to form and coming out right into kind of the center of South Africa. So this circle, yeah, so actually, wow. What I'm seeing happening is there's a whole a circle that has formed, but then people are still coming in, or spirits. So if I say people, I mean spirits at that spirit level. And there's rows and rows and rows of people that are showing up for this. A lot of emotion coming through. People have been waiting for this for a really long time. And I am seeing just people, there are a lot of cultures in South Africa. There's not one culture, but there's a lot of different cultures, a lot of different peoples. So I see people even with different headdresses, different garb that they are wearing, modern, ancient times. Ancient times that goes back to even before the country of South Africa was even a possible concept in people's minds, who were living there, who were traveling is not the right word, but who were just adventuring in that area of the African continent. So, uh, I'm just going to wait a little bit here and just allow that to really come in. And I get a sense of music. I can hear kind of music coming in, that to me sounds more like South African music from just the little that I know, and of what I've heard in modern time movies and stuff like that. But um, as well as a sense of older music coming in. There's a sense of real honoring of the process, and this cultural piece, this old cultural piece of gathering, gathering together, and hearing the grievances, and the hurts and the pains of the past as a process of release, and coming, being in that space of the gathering of the village, the council, the people. So that's the feeling that I'm feeling as these rows and rows and rows of people are just forming in a circle. And at the center, at the center, I actually see this vortex that started to form before, when I was preparing the space and really coming into that center. And that vortex, one of the things that's happening with this vortex is it's pulling in all the distortions, to help clear, kind of like a twister, a hurricane, kind of energy, uh, that just pulls in everything that's there. So taking a nice deep breath in for yourself, and asking you just to suggesting that you really stay present and grounded for yourself in this healing. So really staying connected with your physical body, especially if you're really sensitive to energies, so that you stay in your own reality, stay present, in your physical space, in your time frame, in your reality, in your present moment, even as you observe whatever you can pick up on, whatever information you pick on that is happening. So this vortex is starting to open up, and it's as it goes through, and I'm seeing it going through this gathering of people that has formed, and there's it's the effect of a nuclear blast, where you just see all this energy just radiating out from this core centerpiece. So that's what's happening as it radiates out and expands out to encompass all of, generally speaking, South Africa, but there are other countries that are getting pulled in. I'm kind of recognizing Malawi, just from the little geography that I know of that part of the continent. But it's actually expanding out, because the cultures that were the older cultures of South Africa were not contained to just that specific modern time boundary of South Africa. So it's expanding to overlap with other countries, which is good, which is fine. So the first thing I'm noticing that's happening is this uh yeah, well, it's almost like this tornado effect. And you know, when a tornado hits a building, it just throws all of that into splinters and sends it out from the core all the way out to in all directions. Actually, this very core of of a hurricane and of a tornado is very still, but it from that area, it's spinning so fast, it's like a centrifuge and just sending out. So that's what I'm seeing, and going through the land, uh, and blasting away a lot of distortions, a lot of debris, a lot of just old pieces that have just been hanging there that needed to shift. And there's a sense of a lot the older traditions and the sages of the older cultures standing by, and actually, well, standing by, uh, being present and participating in that and holding the space for this to happen. So we are just facilitating and witnessing this process. But by requesting this and actually participating, we are actually participating, even if we are just witnessing and just being present with it happening. So take another deep breath in, hold it for yourself for a few counts, and then release it, and sinking back into your being even a little bit more deeply. So there's this incredible glowing half orb that is sitting on top of that whole area of the African continent, and actually expanding out into the waters as well. Um, and the impact is like it's pushing back the waters, parting the waters away from the land. And as that happens, I see the rest of the orb, so going down beneath and really surrounding the land to the depth. So now that that's happened, I'm starting to see dead people, dead spirits, basically, spirits that have died but have not transitioned over properly, that are starting to rise out of the land, out of the ground. A lot of them were not buried properly because of warfare, because of where they died, or even because of what's the word, being thrown out of the clan, of the village, of the family, and having to be out on the wilderness. I can't think of the word of that for that, but it's like getting thrown out, and then you have to uh, just go out and survive on your own if you can. So people dying in that. And it's interesting because I'm feeling like I'm going back in time. So kind of going back to the 1800s. Oh, a lot. And then that was a lot of warfare, a lot of bloody warfare, a lot of European style warfare. Um, and what I mean by European style is using the technology of Europe at that time there. Not that they always won, because I can see where there were areas where they did not win, but Um, wow. Okay. So distortions that are starting to come out of that, it's like spines, very prickly energy, and prickly, not like little small cactus spines, but really large spines that just go right through. A lot of hatred coming through. Ooh, clearing out with that, and very prickly energy. Wow. Yeah. Now that's kind of calming down. There's still some lighter residue that's shifting out of that. There's also areas. What's starting to show up now is areas where mm, either a lot of people died in one area, or there was like mass graves, where maybe a whole village was killed and either buried or not buried, but depending. Oh, yeah, a lot of them were just left uh, eh, right where they died. And that was a way, I have the sense that that was a way in some areas to actually dishonor the dead and keep them from dying properly as a form of uh, um warfare. I mean, in European terms, we have pillage, the terms of rape and pillage. And so it was a different kind of rape and pillage. It was that added piece of dishonoring the dead and keeping them from being able to transition properly, being honored and transitioning properly. So it's like these people have been waiting where they died. And so I'm getting images of family members coming to find the dead relatives, the ones who died. Um, it's interesting because my sense is that they're all at spirit level, and so spirits who eventually died, but not in warfare, still also holding on for this piece so that they can be able to come and get their dead and bury them properly and honor them, so that they can be released and transition properly to where spirits normally should go. So it's very interesting because this flavors for South Africa right now so far has been it's there's a real sense of honor and honoring and respect in the context of um, a gathering such as this. Even though there was this bloody warfare and there was this hatred and this very intense hatred and a viciousness, in terms of like torturing people to death, kind of thing. Um, and yet, there's also this piece about honor and respect and gathering and forgiveness that's coming through at the same time. So it's really not feeling as intense as I was anticipating, or at least not so far. And so it's like this balance of energies, not all just this really ugly stuff, but this other side that is coming in as well, and really holding the space, helping to hold the space. So again, just asking everybody who's present to take a deep breath in, come into yourselves. And what I'm seeing now happening is there's an inner circle of physical people. So those of us who haven't died, physically, so closer to the center, and it's like I see everybody holding hands and forming this circle, and this kind of living human beings mastermind. and all the other ones in the back. So that's actually what's happening now, is that that has allowed these other spirits that had come in to hold the space uh, to shift and be able to shift and release, so that they're not stuck in any time frame, and they're able to shift out and release, and as they release, awaken um, into a new consciousness for themselves. So that will in turn cycle back around and bring that awakening energy at that deeper level, at that spirit level, for South Africa, for the South Africans today, regardless of where their lineage of origin of their lineage is, or how far back their lineage goes in South Africa. Because like most countries today, it's we're all a mix. We're from so many different places, and some of us even off planet, but that's a whole other discussion. So yeah, there's a lot, again, a lot of that is getting just pulled out. And so this vortex that got created, and then later, this dome of light that was formed around South Africa and going into the land, and around, surrounding that land, even very deep underneath. Um, just really helping to clear that out at a much deeper level. So taking another deep breath in, and I'm asking for this clearing to go back to the beginning of time. Uh, so there's much deeper clearing that's coming out of the land. Um, and yeah, this is amazing how fast and how much ease there is going with this. Um, I'm getting blips now. There's some blips that are more modern time that are showing up, that just blipped in uh, with all the stuff that happened in modern times. And ooh, yeah, it's almost like it's gotten uglier in modern times, because there's been a lot of a level of loss of that honor and respect um, for life, for existence, for that deeper aspect of life, that was totally thrown out. Thrown out. Hate to say this, but I feel that like with the British, basically, uh, but with the whole cultures coming in from the outside, and inserting themselves very in a very distorted way, in a very controlled and dominating way. So that was just thrown out and pushed that piece out aside, unless people were really looking to make it happen. So it really got washed out of people's minds in a lot of ways. And people, uh, yeah, it's almost creating this mental, what's been termed by Moss, for those of you who know, as this mental instability, where because that there was that deep disconnection from the purity of the culture, um, that people were basically acting insane in what they were doing. So they might not have appeared to normal people, to normal at surface level, not normal people, but at the surface level, as acting just like everybody else. But there's this deep insanity that was running through people in more modern times, and I see that as being one of the reasons that things got really ugly. Um, with what's called necklacing. For those of you who don't know what necklacing is, it's basically having a tire put around you, and that tire being lit up with. And basically you're burning to death as this tire burns. So a lot of pain created by this distortion in the culture. There were other distortions from before these foreign cultures, basically white cultures, but there are other foreign cultures coming in, um, with domination. But there was m- a bit more balance with it before modern times, basically. And okay, so now we're starting to get some really gruesome details. Just and I'll just leave it to how people were tortured to death in a way to dishonor the culture so that the people could not die properly. So clearing all of that out, releasing that. So much is just being held in the land too. Um, and it feels like in some areas that has created drought, but drought from the internal part of the land. Like, so drought coming in, instead of drought from lack of rain, it was drought from just that lack of nourishment in the soil, because there was so much ingrained impurity ingrained in the soil. And a lot of darkness getting released now. So um, again, asking for that to take us all the way back to the beginning of time for this area of the planet. And again, taking a deep breath in, make sure you stay connected with your breath with this. Right now, there's a lot of very dark energies clearing out distortions, basically just distortion patterns. So we'll leave it at that. Um, so that's all, expanding it out all directions. And what I'm starting to see at the center of this is this what feels like it's a very small bubble, but it's like this Garden of Eden feeling. So we're going to keep focusing on clearing that out and allowing that to expand out, and bring that back to the land, the cultures, the people. Mm. And again, just keep focusing on your breath, and you can breathe in and hold it for a few counts for yourself. And that's starting to lighten up. And getting a lot lighter, and it's this feeling of the calm that starts to come in after this horrendous storm coming through. And the storm, you can kind of still hear the storm, not too far away, and then this calm that starts to come in. And yeah, there's still quite a bit, but it's clearing out. It's getting lighter. And there's a little bit of starting to come through it is this joy, relief, and yeah, joy, happiness kind of feelings. So also let's clear out the dirt all the way down as deep as it needs to be cleared. And some of this also looks like char charred, like leftover charred whatever bodies, plants, buildings, building material. Not really buildings anymore, but building material that's just been burned to the ground. And so that's also a really in itself a deep clearing with the fire, the power of fire. And the power of water, so the rain coming down and washing all of that out. So taking a deep breath in, coming into your chest space for those of us who are witnesses and facilitators of this process. Yeah, and that's starting to create this uh, glow and coming into your core alignment as you do that, because that what's causing that is like this little mini mastermind that has been formed. And as we those of us who are here present, as we come into our core alignment, that's sending out this uh, wave and this vibration and this energy that's pushing away even more residue. So bringing coming into really focusing on your core center, your core essence. Yeah, that looks beautiful. Bringing that in. And now I'm seeing there's a lot of this bluish white energy that that's the color I tend to see it for spirit level, and that's coming in and filling up this whole sphere again. This whole sphere that's surrounding that whole area uh, of the south the African continent. So basically South Africa, but it certainly is extending out beyond that. Um, uh, yeah, towards Madagascar. So that's further up, and my geography is not real good at that area. I just know a couple places in that area, um, only because I've been there. But I'm starting to notice Madagascar on the side, so that is definitely reaching past South Africa. Um, and I'm seeing these little tiny islands that I have been on, kind of the Comoros Islands too. They're showing up, and those are east. I'm sorry, west northwest tip of Madagascar. So that's almost going all the way up to Mozambique and Kenya area. So that's great. But the brightest area is South Africa. So there's just been this extension that's happened because of this mixing of cultures. So that's good. Okay. Taking another deep breath in, holding it, releasing on your own, feeling that alignment to your core essence. And yeah, this little mini mastermind of living humans kind of just glowing and opening up the way for that's radiating out in all directions. uh Again, sending out another wave. Yeah, there's some city areas that are a little slower to clear. I'd have to look on a map, but it's on the west coast, um, west of center at the bottom. I'm seeing that area is a little slower to clear off the coastline. Yeah, a little bit on the east coast also. Just a little slower, just a little more density of distortion to clear out there. So that's all right. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because what's coming up in those areas, especially on the east side, is more like the kind of like in family, brother to brother, like Cain and Abel kind of storyline of warfare. Not necessarily all out war, but killing, battle, conflict. Okay, that piece is settling out too. So good. Okay, okay, that's starting to be almost completely released there. And bringing in renewed uh, lightness and energy to the land, to the culture, bringing in wholeness and restoring that feeling of Garden of Eden in the land, but also in the minds and hearts of the people. And reunification, reuniting of people, whether they are families or clans or groups or cultures or whatever, um, going beyond those pieces for a deeper reunification and unity. All in the essence of the purity of essence of spirit to come through and be instilled in land, culture, and people. Well, there's this immense stillness now in the space. So I'm going to let this sit a little bit. I see my friend Natasha has joined in. Natasha, I don't know if you can if you have seen a button that says join, join live, I'm gonna, if you can, if that came up for you, I have no idea. This thing is not really clear to me, but if you can join in, and that'd be great if you feel like it, to make any comments you want on regarding South Africa, regarding anything that came up that either you noticed or that comes to mind to say. If you can, if you would like to join us, or and anybody who's joined in, if you like to make a comment, I can read those as well. So just giving a few moments for, if anybody would like to make a comment, please do so. And just waiting. I'm gonna see if I can add somebody. Go live with, okay. Natasha, I'm gonna see if I can add you in. Decline. Okay. No problem. Mm-mm-mm. All right. So, unless anybody has a comment to make, I was just waiting a little bit, giving people a little bit of time to pause, a little pause for giving people time. So we will end it here. And please do feel free to send me a comment. I assume you're able to comment, but I think there's been times when people haven't been able to. So, anyways, so please do feel free to send me a comment, a little message on Instagram, and let me know how that was on your end. Anything you want to say about this. And this time slot is reserved for land culture people clearing. I don't have anything lined up, and I'm not going to automatically just line something up. Yeah, thank you, Kayla, for joining in. Yeah, thanks. And so if there's any requests, feel free to send me a message, and we'll just schedule it in. But it's not. I'm not going to do it an automatic thing. I'm going to do it as it presents itself. So right now, there's nothing on the schedule. But just leaving this time slot open for that as it presents itself. So until next time, very powerful clearing. I felt like a light pillar help clearing. Yes, yeah, I could see that too, where it really started to come in with this mini live human mastermind happening. So that was really cool. And I really noticed that on the first one with Scotland, because that got created around a group of young people from Scotland. So I think there were about seven of them. And wow, that was really powerful. And I think it really impacted them beyond this. It was really cool. Totally agree. Yes, so cool. Absolutely. So that helps to deepen the healing, and I think it also helps to bring in that new consciousness that's coming in, and just anchor in the new, and start bringing those that new awakening energy and frequencies into the area that we're focusing on. So thank you all for participating, whether it was actually live or if you watch this later. And until next time. So again, thank you, and send me a comment. Let me know how anything you want to share with me afterwards. And we'll see you next time.